Good day everyone, I'm Ursulada Raymart from BSA 2D, and for today, we the Group 3 are going to discuss a new topic in macroeconomics. Set back, relax, listen, and enjoy our video demo presentation.
Good day, I'm Marjin Inay from BST2F. I'm glad to introduce to you the topic for this victory of macroeconomics. The basic concept economic fundamental is our topic for today's discussion. And without further ado, let's go to the proper discussion.
Fundamentals of Economics. Economics is the study of how individuals, families, business, and societies use limited resources to fulfill their unlimited wants. Thus, it is the proper allocation and efficient use of available resources for the maximum satisfaction of human wants. The two parts of economics. The first one is microeconomics. It is the study of the behavior and decision making by small units. Example, the individuals and the families. The second one is macroeconomics. It is the study of the economy as a whole, the behavior and decision making by large units. Example, the government.
Good day, I'm Marjin Inay from BST2F. And this is my part to our discussion. Why economics is important. This inquire into cause and effect relationship key influencing economics growth. Economics will look at mix and benefits on people, the job market, and society as a whole when advising how to allocate resources. For me, economics has provided me with a systematic frameworks for analyzing issue, and economics will take risks to benefit the job market, the people, and the society as well, and they use resources efficiently that will lead to economic growth to the society. Thank you.
Before we proceed, let me introduce to you the reporters. Linel Ashley de la Cruz, Sheena May Esplana, Edgar Elcano, Mary Jane Inahe, Evangeline Daba, Michelle Dilatado, Sheria Dohale, and Jimar Espanto. And I am Raymart Ursulada.
Hi, good day. I'm Linel Ashley de Lima de la Cruz from BSED2F. And for today, I am going to discuss with you the market. So, what is market? So, according to the simple English Wikipedia, market is a place where people go to buy or sell things. When people have products to sell, they set up a marketplace. So, yun daw yung lugar. Ang market daw ay ang lugar kung saan nagbebenta at bumibili yung mga tao. And yung sinasabing marketplace, yun yung kung saan nagtatayo ng mga tindahan, katulad na lang sa palengke. So, what economics mean by the word market? Hindi lang naman siya yung bentahan, bilihan. So, sa economics, ang tinutukoy sa economics ng market is yung structures ng market. 'Di ba? Sa mga firms, industries, ganun, sa marketplace. So, what is market structures? So, market structures, according to the Economics third edition book of Feliciano R. Fajardo, are presented by four market models. So, nire-represent daw siya ng apat na basic market models. So, pag sinabi kasi nating market structures, struktura nung market, di ba? These are theoretical frameworks for existing firms and industries in the real world. So, as we go on to the topic or to the lesson, iisa-isahin natin yung four basic market models. So, here in the next is the market models. So, what do we mean about market models? It describes the characteristics of various market structures. So, yung characteristics or yung katangian, sinasabi dito kung ano yung katangian ng mga market structures. However, some enterprises do not exactly fit the characteristics of any of the market models. In other words, the market models are not the complete replica of reality. So, sabi dito, hindi naman daw kasi lahat ng enterprises ay parehas na nag-fit or when we say about fit, talagang sakto doon sa characteristics ng kahit ano doon sa apat na or sa market models. Yon. Hindi naman kasi siya complete replica. Yun nga yung sinasabi natin na no one is perfect. Kahit anong bagay pa yun, hindi yan perfect. The next slide is the importance of market models. Bakit nga ba mahalaga sa atin or bakit nga ba mahalaga yung market models sa economy? So, they help us understand the real world where the market system is the principal element of the economy. So, sabi dito, tinutulungan daw na maintindihan kung ano yung totoong mundo ng isang market system, lalo na sa principal element ng isang ekonomiya. Kasi kapag usapang ekonomiya, hindi pwede dito mag-joke, hindi pwede dito yung hindi sigurado. Syempre, economy is, buhay ng isang bansa, di ba? So, next is, why do firms and industries play a vital role in our economy? Bakit nga ba? Bakit nga ba ganun na lang yung halaga ng firms and industry sa ating ekonomiya? Bakit? Because it serves as the lifeblood of a country's economy. So when we say lifeblood, so ito yung nagsusupply sa ating ekonomiya at ito din yung nagre-representa ng isang ekonomiya kung maunlad ba or hindi. And kahit anong country naman, syempre may ekonomiya yan kasi lahat naman mayroong firms and industries, 'di ba? And that's the vital role of firms and industry sa ating mga ekonomiya. And always remember that economy is very important in a certain country. So, economic efficiency, what do we mean by economic efficiency? It is the relationship between input factors of production and output goods and services produced by the factors of production. So, dito sa economic efficiency daw, relasyon daw nung input tsaka ng output. So, di ba, way back grade 11, first year college, napag-aralan na natin kung ano yung input tsaka output ng mga production. Syempre, when we say input, ito yung mga parang ito yung mga land, labor, ganon, 'di ba? Yun yung nagse-serve as parang puhunan ng isang industries, ng isang firms para makagawa ng products or services. And that products and services is what do we call the output. Kasi yun yung na-produce ng production. Yan daw, economic efficiency ay relationship between the input and output of the production. So, let's get to the next slide. So, market system. Market system allocates goods and services through the mechanism of demand and supply. So, ibig sabihin ng market system, ina-allocate niya daw yung mga goods and services sa sa pamamagitan ng mechanism ng demand at saka supply. So, syempre dito na pumapasok yung mga kung paano pinapalakad yung mga demand and supply, diba? Tsaka yung mga goods and services sa mga market structure. So, ito yung mga pamamalakad sa kapag sinabi nating market system, no? And then, these are the basic market models. Number one is the perfect or pure type. Under the perfect and pure type, there is a perfect or pure competition. The second is the pure monopoly. So the number two is imperfect or non-pure type. And under this is the monopolistic competition and oligopoly. So iisa-isahin po natin to together with Mr. Jammer Espanto. So yung yung iba dito, siya naman po magdi-discuss. So, market models defined pure competition is the market situation where there is a large number of independent sellers offering identical products. So, sa pure competition daw po, ang market situation daw dun is malaking number ng mga independent sellers, or in short, madaming nagtitinda ng mga pare-parehas, identical. When we say identical is pare-parehas. So, madaming nagtitinda ng mga pare-parehas na produkto. So, on the next slide, tutukuyin natin yung mga characteristics nito. Okay? So, next is the pure monopoly. It refers to a market situation where there is only one seller or producer supplying unique goods and services. So, pure monopoly. Ibig sabihin, sa market situation na ito, isa lang daw yung seller, isa lang yung nagbebenta, isa lang yung nagpo-produce ng goods or services. Isa lang. Ibig sabihin, sa isang marketplace, siya lang, nag-iisa lang siyang nag-o-offer doon ng goods and services na yon. And what do we mean by monopsony? So, it is a one-buyer market situation or isa lang yung binibilhan. One-buyer market situation. So, the next is the monopolistic competition. When we say monopolistic competition, it pertains to a market situation where there is a relatively large number of small producers or suppliers selling similar but not identical products. So, ibig sabihin, ang market situation naman dito sa monopolistic competition ay malaking number. Katulad pa din sa pure competition, di ba? Malaki yung number ng mga nagpo-produce ng similar but not identical products. So, when we say similar but not identical products, ibig sabihin, pwedeng kapareha pero hindi naman totally replica ng isang goods or services. So, next is the oligopoly. Oligopoly is associated with a market situation where there are few firms offering standardized or differentiated goods and services. So, sa oligopoly, associated with a market situation, yung market situation dito, few firms. Ibig sabihin ko, konti lang yung nag-offer ng goods or services na yun, di ba? Konti lang. Especially, think about dito sa mga, katulad sa mga probinsya natin, there are certain services or products na meron lang talaga certain mga firms, meron lang bilang ng mga firms ang nag-o-offer nun. Hindi halos lahat, di ba? So, kanina, dinefine natin yung monopsony, one buyer market. So, kapag few buyer market situation naman, ang tawag naman doon is oligopsony. Few, ibig sabihin konti lang. So, next is the characteristics of market models. So, iisa-isahin natin yung mga characteristics ng mga market models just like what I've said earlier. So, First is the pure competition. Ano nga ba yung mga katangian sa pure competition? Na marami ang nagbebenta ng mga pare-parehas na goods and services. So, while there is a large number of independent seller, madami yung mga nagtitinda. Ibig sabihin, marami din yung nabubuhay. Ang dami ding nabubuhay sa pangkabuhayan na yun. So, number two is the products are identical or homogeneous. So, pare-parehas. Ibig sabihin, kahit saan ka na lang bumili kasi nga pare-parehas lang naman yung mga nagtitinda doon, 'di ba? Number three, or pare-parehas lang naman yung tinitinda. Number three is no single seller and no single buyer can influence the change in market price of a good, the rise or fall of market price due to changes in total demand or total supply. So, dito kasi sa pure competition, syempre, pare-pares kayo ng tinitinda. Tapos, ang dami yung nagtitinda. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman makakaapekto kung yung isang seller na yun magbabago ng presyo. Kapag tumaas ka, syempre sa iba din lang naman yung bibili. Kapag bumaba naman yan, syempre may tendency pa din na bibili at bibili pa din yan sa iba, 'di ba? And wala din na single buyer ang makaka-impluwensya para magtaas o magbaba kasi isa nga lang. Ang kalaban mo maraming independent sellers, 'di ba? Number four is it is easy for new firms or sellers to enter the market and for existing firms or sellers to leave the market. So, ito yung sinasabi na welcome to enter and welcome to exit. Kasi, madali lang yung mga taong pumasok sa isang market situation na ganito. Sa market situation ng pure competition. Kasi, kung nakikita mo naman patok, ay syempre, itatry mo katulad sa mga milk tea, di ba? Ang daming na ngayong milk tea ngayon dito sa Rinconada. And then, madali din naman mag-exit dun sa mga sa mga businesses na ganun. Kasi nga, madami na nagbebenta. Kung nalulugi ka na, edi exit ka na. And the last one is, there is no non-price competition like advertising, promotion, or packaging. Dito, wala ditong naglalaban-laban sa mga when it comes to advertising, promotion, or packaging. Kasi nga, identical yung binebenta nyo. Identical, pare-parehas. Siyempre, wala na dyan pakialam yung mga tao dun, ay wala na kayong pakialam dun sa gagastusin nyo para sa advertising, promotion, and packaging. Kung pare-parehas din lang naman kayo, di ba? So, makakapasok dito sa pure competition yung mga online sellers, baga. Yung mga online sellers ng isang beauty products. Kunwari, ang mga online sellers ng Brilliant Skin, di ba? Yan yung mga sa mga skincare. Syempre, pare-parehas yung binibenta nila. Doon pumapasok yung pure competition. So, the last slide that I am going to tackle is the characteristic of pure monopoly market model. So, pag sinabi nga natin pure monopoly, ano nga po yun ulit? Sige nga po, pakitandaan po, po tayo, recall, alalahanin natin, alalahanin natin ang kahapon, joke lang po. So, sa pure monopoly, first is there is only one producer or seller. Ibig sabihin, isa lang yung nagbebenta ng mga products or services na sila lang yung nag-offer. Number two is products are unique in the sense that there are no good or close substitute available. So, ang mga produkto daw ay unique, ay kakaiba. Kasi wala nga daw na malapit na substitute na available. Kasi nga, ikaw lang yung nagbebenta doon paano nga pala kung, kunwari, dito sa Iriga, walang nagbebenta, for instance, wala ditong nagbebenta ng makeup. Diba? Isang place lang, isang business lang yung nagbebenta dito. Syempre, dun ka nabibili. Kesa naman sa pumunta ka pa sa Naga, diba? O pamasahe pa. O yun nga, walang substitute na available kasi walang malapit na nagtitinda or walang ibang nagpo-produce ng produktong gano'n, 'di ba? Number three is the monopolist makes the price. So, sila yung gumagawa ng presyo nila kasi since wala silang wala silang kalaban or wala silang kakompetisyon, pwede silang magtaas ng price. Tatangkilikin sila ng tao. Especially kung it is very essential sa tao, 'di ba? Lalo na kung pagkain, kung bigas 'yan na walang nagbebenta sa iba ng bigas, 'di ba? Kung sa inyo lang may nagbebenta ng bigas, sa inyo lang 'yan bibili. O kapag tumaas ka ng presyo, bibili at bibili pa din 'yan kasi nga walang ibang mabibilhan, 'di ba? Just like what I've said earlier. Ulit-ulit tayo. So, number four, it is extremely difficult for new firms to enter the market. Totoo nga naman, mahihirapan na mag-set up ng bagong bagong taga-produce ng ng certain product na yun na mag-enter dun sa market. Kasi nga, syempre, sabi nga dito, walang close substitute market. Tsaka, paano kung nasanay ng mga tao na dun lang bibili, diba? So, for the number five, there may be or no extensive advertising promotion depending on the goods or services of the monopolist. So, dito, wala silang gagastusin for the advertising and or promotion kasi nga syempre sila lang din naman yung nagbebenta kaya hindi naman sila mag-exert pa ng ng effort, hindi na din sila maglalabas ng pera para lang magkaroon ng advertising or promotion. Kasi nga, sila lang yung nag-offer nun. It means, kahit anong gawin nila, kahit maglabas sila ng advertisement or hindi, or ng promotion, babalik at babalik yung tao or bibili at bibili pa rin sa kanila kasi sila nga lang yung nag-o-offer dun sa market um, ng goods or services na gano'n. So, that is all. Yun lang po ang mai-share ko. And I hope you learned something and have a nice learning together with my group mates. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Good day, I'm Jermer Espanto and I'll discuss the monopolistic competition. There is a large number of sellers acting independently. Such number means about 100 firms or sellers more or less. While in the case of pure competition, it indicates thousands or more sellers. Products are differentiated. This means physical differences are as variations in location of the store, services of the sales staff, packaging of the product, credit conditions, advertisements, and other sales promotion strategies. Examples are banks, books publications, drugs, tailoring shops, gasoline stations, among others. There is a limited control of price. It is possible for some sellers to slightly reduce or increase their prices because of differences of their products. Example, some banks have lower or higher interest rates. Likewise, soap products have different prices. Even vitamins have different prices, even if they have the same classification like vitamin E. Entry of new firms in the market is relatively easy. However, compared with pure competition, it is more difficult for firms under the monopolistic competition to put up their business. It requires bigger capital and the competition is greater in the sense that they have to offer better product features and more effective sales promotions. There is an aggressive non-price competition in the product quality, credit terms, services, locations, and physical appearance of the product. There is an extensive advertising to focus the distinct feature of the products of the sellers. So, ang monopolistic competition ay nangyayari kung may malaking bilang ng nagbebenta ng produktong pareho ang gamit, ngunit iba-iba ang katangian o quality. Maraming producer ang lumikha ng kaparehong produkto. Ang uri ng products ay magkakapareho o similar but not exactly identical. Ito ay tinatawag na product differentiation. Ang bawat producer ay nag-aanunsyo o nag-a-advertise upang makumbinsi ang mga consumer na ang kanyang produkto o brand ay ang pinakamahusay sa lahat. For example, bibili ka ng burger mula sa isang kilalang tindahan. Ito ay maituturing na monopolistic competition dahil parehas lang naman pagkain ang binibenta ng ibang pamilihan. Nagkakaiba lang sila dahil kaunti ang advertisement at katangian ng ibang products. In oligopoly, there are very few firms which dominate the market. Each firm produces a big portion of a total industry output. Products are identical or differentiated. Raw materials like steel, zinc, lead, cement, and other industrial raw materials are identical products. Finished goods like typewriters, airplanes, locomotives, cars, and sewing machines are differentiated products. There is a price agreement among the producer to promote their own economic interest. The biggest among the producers is the price leader. In the case of OPEC or Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, the price leader is Saudi Arabia, which is the biggest oil producer. Moreover, there is also output agreement among the oligopolies to avoid surplus, which causes decline in the price. It is not uncommon for them, like OPEC, to cut down production to secure a higher price. The entry of new competitors in the market is difficult. It requires enormous capital and large-scale production. It is very difficult for new firms to compete with existing firms because these are already well established. However, despite formidable competition, it is still possible for new firms to enter the market. Unlike under pure monopoly, there are certain legal and economic restrictions which is no longer possible or feasible for new firms to enter the market. If they succeed, then it would no longer be pure monopoly, such as in the case of San Miguel Beer. Another beer company has been able to penetrate the market. There are strong advertising among those who produce differentiated products like cars, cigarettes, and appliances. However, in the case of identical products like the industrial raw materials, advertising is only for image building. Usually, the deeper interest of the firms is in the community, in the firm's contributions to the growth of the economy. Well, ang oligopoly ay isang istruktura ng pamilihan na may maliit na bilang ng sellers na nagbebenta ng magkatulad o magkaugnay na produkto. Isang pamilihan kung saan kaunti lamang ang bilang ng producer na nagbebenta at ang kilos ng isang kumpanya ay nakakaapekto sa kilos ng ibang kumpanya. Nagkakaugnay ang mga producer sa pagtatakda ng presyo at dami ng produksyon. Isinasaalang-alang dito ang desisyon ng kalabang kumpanya o tinatawag na interdependent. Ang mga ito ay nakikilala sa kanilang brand name. Sa gasoline station, mayroon tayong Shell. Sa inumin naman tulad ng Coca-Cola, sikat na kainan tulad ng Jollibee. Maaaring magdulot ng iba't ibang uri ng sabwatan ang polio na binabawasan ang kompetisyon at nagiging sanhi ng mataas na presyo ng mga mamimili. Ang katangian ng oligopoly ay nag-aanunsyo o nag-advertise. Malaga ito upang makilala ang produkto. Kinakailangan din ng malaking kapital. At iisa ang reaksyon. Ang desisyon ng kumpanya ay mag-produce ng dami ng produkto at nakadepende sa kalabang kumpanya. At gumagawa ng produktong magkatulad at may kaunting pagkakaiba. Hindi naglalaban ang presyo. Ang presyo ay matatag at hindi nagbabago. Ang kumpanya ay nagtutunggaliang sa anyo, anunsyo, kalidad at uri ng produkto at serbisyo. At ang producer ay iilan lamang. Determinants of market structure. Government laws and policies. In some industries, the government controls the degree of competition in the interest of the economy and the consumers. For instance, in certain industries like those which supply water and electricity, the government requires only one company for each product and service. In the case of transportation and communication, the government may require only one or two firms to operate in certain regions of the country to prevent abuses of monopolistic firms. The government regulates their operations. Technology. For quite some time, certain firms have enjoyed their business position as a monopolist. In fact, they have reaped great economic fortunes as the only suppliers of products which did not have competition. However, because of technology, good or better substitutes have been developed. Thus, monopoly has been transformed into oligopoly, or even monopolistic competition in some cases. For example, the abaca fiber was once the pride of the Philippines. It was used for making quality papers, ropes, and fishing nets. But when synthetic fibers have appeared, abaca fiber has been given low market rating. The appearance of plastic products has also destroyed not a few monopolistic firms. Furthermore, the discovery of better technology by some firms has driven away less efficient competitors, so that the only very few have remained in the industry. Business policies and practices. The presence of giant firms discouraged the entry of new firms with little resources. In some cases, the bigger firms resort to cutthroat competition, which is an unfair business practice to drive away their competition. There are also cases where existing big firms merge their resources to improve their shares in the market. Another strategy of big firms is to buy the resources of their competitors with attractive price. This eliminates or reduces competitions. Economic freedom. The existence of economic freedoms like the right to own private properties, the right to engage in any lawful business, the right to accumulate income, and other similar economic freedom associated with free-enterprise economy have somehow changed market structures. In a free-enterprise economy or free-competition economy, it is survival of fittest. The most efficient firms remain in business. They conquer their competitors and drive them out of the market. Naturally, firms which suffer from heavy losses leave the market. This leads to monopoly or oligopoly. During depressions or recessions, the inefficient firms and those with little resources leave the market. Only the few big and efficient ones stay in the market.
Government. Not a few countries emerge from poverty to progress because of the good purchase of their top government officials. The people have an equal responsibility in the economic recovery of their own country. Government roles in the economy. When it comes to the economy, governments set economic rules, known as regulations, collect taxes, and spend money. But governments can also regulate the economy in more behind the scenes ways like establishing property rights, issuing money, and regulating the stock market. First one is maintaining legal and social frameworks, setting the general rules of play in the time economy, settling contract and monetary disputes in court, protecting property rights, physical and intellectual, printing currency. The second one is maintaining economic competitions, ensuring there is competitions among producers of goods and services in the economy, prevent monopolies and oligopolies like Standard Oil, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Amazon, provides variety and ensure lower price. Third one is provide public goods and services, things provide on which businesses would not normally be able to make a profit. Examples, infrastructures, schools, first responders. And the good examples of it is military.
Redistributing income, taxing and spending policy, discretionary spending, money budgeted for spending on specific programs. Example, public goods and infrastructure. Mandatory spending, money provided to individuals based on need. Example, social security, Medicare. Correcting externalities. Externalities equal side effects of market economy interaction. Discourage negative externalities. Pollution-based taxes. Safety regulations on food. Encourage positive externalities. Cash for clunkers program. And subsidizing education cost. Stabilizing the economy. Action taken to help ease the burden on society during recession. Cutting taxes. Increasing spending on government program. Lowering interest rates. Example, in response to COVID-19 recession, referral of payroll taxes and interest rates lowered to near 0%.
Hi, my name is Shinamay Isplana and I will discuss the basic elements of supply and demand. What is supply? Supply is the schedule of various quantities of commodities which producers are willing and able to produce and offer at a given price, place, and time. Ang supply ay tumutukoy sa dami ng produkto at serbisyo na handa at kayang ibenta ng isang nagbebenta sa isang kaukulang presyo sa loob ng isang takdang panahon kung ang lahat ng bagay ay mananatiling pareho. Determinants of supply. Aside from price, other determinants of supply are: first, technology. Technological improvements help reduce production cost and increase profit that stimulate higher supply. And the second one, cost of production. If the price of inputs and factors used in production, such as raw materials, labor, machine, are high, the cost of production will be high. Higher cost of production at the given price reduce the profit margin and will be pursued to produce and supply less. And the third one, number of seller. The number of seller will have an effect on the market supply. Since the market supply is simply the sum of supply of each individual seller, more sellers entering the market increase supplies, while the partnering sellers decrease supplies. And the fourth one, price of other goods. Change in the price of other goods affect the supply of such goods. And the fifth one, price expectation. If producers expect prices to rise very soon, they usually keep their goods and then release them in the market when the prices are already high. And the number 6, taxes and subsidies. Taxes imposed by the government increases cost of production, which in turn discourage production because it reduces producer earnings, and the subsidies given by the government reduce cost of production, which encourage more supply.
Good day everyone, I'm Michelle Dilatado and I will discuss the law of supply, the three methods of showing the relationship between price and quantity supply, and the last one is the changes that involve supply. So what is the law of supply? The law of supply states that as a price increases, the quantity supply also increases. And as a price decreases, the quantity supply also decreases. Isinasaad dito na ang batas ng supply ay mayroong direkta o positibong ugnayan ang presyo at ang quantity supplied ng iba't ibang produkto. Mahalagang isaisip natin na ang batas ng supply ay tama at totoo na walang ibang salik na nakapagpapabago dito maliban sa presyo. Dadako naman tayo sa tatlong paraan upang mailahad ang relasyon ng supply sa presyo. Ang una ay ang supply schedule. Supply schedule is a table that shows the relationship between the price of a good and the quantity supplied. Ang supply schedule ay nagpapakita sa dami ng produkto o serbisyo na kayang at handang ipagbili ng producer sa iba't ibang presyo sa takdang panahon. Ito ay isang halimbawa ng supply schedule na nagpapakita ng dami ng produkto na kayang ipagbili ng producer sa iba't ibang presyo sa isang takdang panahon. Ngayon ay tatalakayin naman natin ang supply curve. Supply curve shows graphically the quantity of a good supplied at each price with the factors that affect the quantity supplied that held constant. Sa madaling salita, ang supply curve ay nagpapakita ng ugnayan ng presyo at ang quantity supply. Paano nga ba na isasagawa ang supply curve? Ang mga datos mula sa supply schedule ay ipaplat lamang sa quadrant 1 na X and Y axis. Ang presyo ay sa Y axis at ang quantity supplied naman ay sa X axis. Ang unang gagawin natin ay i-plot ang puntong A kung saan ang value ng P o presyo ay 1 at ang QS or quantity supplied ay 10. Sunod ay tingnan kung saan nagtagpo ang mga linya at lagyan ito ng marka. At ganun din ang gagawin natin sa mga susunod na puntong B, C, D at E. Ngayon ay pagdugtungin ang mga punto at ito na ang tinatawag nating supply curve o kurba ng supply. Ngunit, paano kung kulang ang mga datos sa supply schedule? At dito na po papasok ang supply function. Supply function is a mathematical equation that connects the quantity of supply of good with its determining factors. The determinants include its own price, taxes, the selling of price expectation, and the subsidies. Ang supply function ay naipapakita sa ganitong equation. QS is equals to C plus B times P. Ang QS o quantity supplied ay tatayong dependent variable at ang P naman o presyo ay ang tatayong independent variable. Ibig sabihin nito na ang pagbabago sa quantity supply ay nakadepende sa pagbabago ng presyo. At ang C naman o intercept, ito ay ang bilang ng quantity supply na kung saan ang P ay 0. Ang B or slope ay nagpapakita naman ng pagbabago sa quantity supplied sa bawat pisong pagbabago sa presyo. Changes involving supply. Number 1. Change in quantity supplied. Movement along the supply curve, which shows the movement from one point to another point on the same supply curve.
Ang pagbabago sa quantity supplied ay nangyayari lamang kung may pagbabago sa presyo ng mga produkto at serbisyo. The last one is change in supply, shifting from one supply curve to another curve. The change in supply is brought about by the changes in all the determinants, such as technology, cost of production, price expectation, number of sellers, taxes and subsidies, and except by the price.
May tatlong paraan upang mailahad ang relasyon ng supply sa presyo. Ito ang supply schedule, supply function, at supply curve. Ang supply schedule ay isang talaan na nagpapakita ng dami ng produkto o serbisyo na kaya at handang ipagbili ng producer sa iba't ibang presyo sa isang takdang panahon. Ito ay isang halimbawa ng supply schedule. Nagpapakita ng dami ng produkto na kayang ipagbili ng producer sa iba't ibang presyo sa isang takdang panahon. Ngunit paano kung kulang ang mga datos ng supply schedule? Dito papasok ang supply function. Ang supply function ay isang matematikong paraan ng pagpapakita ng ugnayan ng presyo at quantity supplied. Ito ay maaaring ipakita sa ganitong equation. QS is equals to C plus D times P, kung saan ang QS o quantity supplied ang tatayong dependent variable at ang P o presyo ay ang independent variable. Ibig sabihin nito na ang pagbabago sa QS ay depende sa pagbabago ng P. C o intercept bilang ng QS kung ang P ay 0. At D o slope ay magpapakita naman ng pagbabago ng QS sa bawat pisong pagbabago ng presyo. Ating kumpletuhin ang kulang na datos sa ating supply schedule gamit ang supply function na QS is equals to negative 80 plus 4 times P. Unahin natin ang puntong A kung saan ang value ng P ay 23 at nawawala ang value ng QS o quantity supplied. Upang makuha ang value ng QS sa puntong A, ipalit ang value ng P na 23. Negative 80 plus 4 times 23, negative 80 plus 92, 12. Ang value ng QS sa puntong A ay 12. Ibig sabihin nito na ang mga producer ay handang magbenta ng 12 piraso sa presyong 23 pesos. Ganun din ang gagawin para sa puntong B. Upang makuha ang value ng QS, ay gamitin ang supply function na QS is equals to negative 80 plus 4P. Ipalit ang value ng P na 26, negative 80 plus 4 times 26, negative 80 plus 104, 24. Kaya mo na bang hanapin ang value ng QS sa puntong C? Gamitin pa rin ang supply function na QS is equals to negative 80 plus 4 times P. Parehas ba tayo ng naging kasagutan? Kaiba sa naunang tatlong punto kung saan ang value ng QS ang nawawala, sa puntong D, ang value ng P o presyo ang hinahanap. Upang maging akma ang ating supply function na QS is equals to negative 80 plus 4 times P, ay kailangan nating mag-transpose. Ang intercept na may value na negative 80 ay ating ililipat. Matapos nito ay magsasagawa tayo ng cancellation. Ngayon ay mas madali na nating makukuha ang value ng P. Ipalit ang value ng QS na 56. 80 plus 56 divided by 4. 136 divided by 4 ay 34. Ibig sabihin nito na sa presyong 34 pesos ay handang magbenta ang mga producer ng 56 na piraso. Ngayon ay ikaw naman ang sumubok na kumuha ng value ng P sa puntong E, kung saan ang value ng QS ay 72. Gamitin pa rin ang binagong supply function na P is equals to 80 plus QS over 4. Parehas ba tayo ng naging kasagutan? Ngayon ay talakayin naman natin ang supply curve. Ang supply curve ay isang grafikong pagsasalarawan ng ugnayan ng presyo at quantity supplied. Paano nga ba ito maisasagawa? Ang mga datos mula sa supply schedule ay ipaplat sa quadrant 1 ng X at Y axis. Ang presyo ay sa Y axis o vertical line at ang quantity supplied ay sa X axis o horizontal line. Unang i-plot ang puntong A, kung saan ang value ng P o presyo ay 23 at QS o quantity supplied ay 12. Tingnan kung saan nagtagpo ang mga linya at lagyan ng marka. Isunod naman ang puntong B, kung saan ang presyo ay 26 at quantity supplied ay 24. Tingnan kung saan nagtagpo ang mga linya at lagyan ng marka. Isunod ang puntong C, kung saan ang presyo ay 31 at ang QS ay 44. Tingnan kung saan nagtagpo ang mga linya at markahan. Sunod ang puntong D, kung saan ang P o presyo ay 34 at ang QS ay 56. Tingnan kung saan nagtagpo ang mga linya at muling markahan. At panghuli ay ang puntong E, kung saan ang value ng P o presyo ay 38 at QS o quantity supplied ay 72. Tingnan kung saan nagtagpo ang mga linya at lagyan ng marka. Pagdugtungin ang mga punto. Ito ang tinatawag nating supply curve o kurba ng supply.
Demand is the schedule of various quantities of commodities which buyers are willing and able to purchase at a given price, time, and place. So, ito daw yung tumutukoy sa dami ng produkto o paglilingkod na kayang bilhin ng isang consumer sa isang takdang presyo. Determinants of demand. Mga tumutukoy sa mga pangangailangan. Taste or preferences. Demand for goods and services increases when people like or prefer them. So, ito daw yung tumutukoy sa mga gusto ng tao or tinatangkilik ng bawat isang persona. Number 2, population or number of consumer. More people means more demand for goods and services. So, isang halimbawa dito is yung halimbawa, may tindahan dun sa sentro or sa bayan, tapos tindahan dito sa may bukid. Parehas sila may isang sakong bigas na ibebenta, pero ang kalamangan lang dun sa nasa bayan, mas madami ang consumer na mamimili, kaya mas madaling maubos ang isang sakong bigas, unlike dun sa tindahan sa may bukid. Number 3, price of related goods. When price of product increases, people tend to buy a substitute product. So, for example, yung Pampers, dati yung binibili ng mga magulang is Mami Poco or Ikyo, pero dahil kulang daw sa budget yung mag-asawa, yung binibili na lang nila is Lampin or other leading brands
na mas mababa ang presyo compare doon sa dati nilang binibiling product. Okay? So, normal goods. Income and the demand for the product and directly related. So, yung normal goods, ito daw yung mga pangunahing pangangailangan ng mga tao. Say, for example, yung damit, household product, like sabon, Colgate, shampoo, etc. So, inferior goods, income and the demand for product, one inversely related. Yung inferior goods, say for example, dati, yung binibilhan ng mag-asawa is nasa palengke lang. Pero tumaas yung income ng mag-asawa, mas gusto nilang bumili dun sa SM supermarket. Same sila ng bibilhin, say for example, yung sibuyas, pero mas mahal dun sa SM ang presyo ng sibuyas. Back to you guys. Income. People buy more goods and services when their income increases. So, pagka dumadami daw yung income ng isang tao, mas gusto nilang bumili ng madaming products kasi madami yung income or ayaw talaga nila ng pabalik-balik dun sa supermarket na binibilhan nila. Kasi lalo ngayong pandemic, mas makakaiwas sa sakit kung maramihan talaga yung bibilhin. Okay? Number 5, expectation. When people expect the price of goods, especially basic. So, number 5, yung expectation, say for example, yung pizza, dati, bumibili lang sila dun sa may pizza house, pero dumami yung income ng mag-asawa or mag-jowa, pumunta na sila dun sa Greenwich Pizza or sa Gulayat Pizza. Usapan dun is, parehas din naman sila pizza, pero mas masarap daw yung nasa Greenwich or sa Gulayat Pizza.
What is the law of demand? The law of demand, as price increases, quantity demanded decreases. And as price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So this talks about that there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. So consumers are most likely to buy more goods and services as price decreases and buy less goods and services as price rises. So this demand schedule talks about that when the price goes down, the quantity demanded goes up. And when the quantity demanded goes down, the price goes up. So, kung yung kape or yung presyo ng kape is bababa, yung bilang ng mamimili is dadami. So, general tendencies of consumers can be explained by 3 reasons. Number 1 is the income effect. Number 2 is the substitution effect. And then number 3 is the law of diminishing marginal utility. Firstly, what is income effect? So, this income effect is the changes in price and how it affects the purchasing power of consumers' income. At lower prices, an individual has a greater purchasing power. So, that's the income effect. Secondly, the substitution effect. So these consumers tend to buy goods with lower prices. So these changes in price motivate consumers to buy relatively cheaper substitute goods. So kapag yung nakasanayan nilang binibili is gatas, so kapag mahal yung gatas, bibili sila ng kape kasi nga yung kape is mababa yung presyo. So that is the substitution effect. And lastly, the law of diminishing marginal utility. So as you continue to consume a given product, you will eventually get less additional utility or get less a satisfaction from each unit you consume. Dahil nga, patuloy mong nakukonsume yung gatas, mawawalan ka na ng satisfaction doon at
magkakaroon ng tendency na lilipat ka sa kape. So, here is one of the example question. So, what happens to the demand for a product when the price decreases? So, the answer will be demand stays the same but the quantity demanded increases.